years ago to go with another young man. To go with young man? Bad cheetah. Gary was left nothing except a small pension, almost $600 a month, because all the savings was in the name of his wife.
Oh boy.
That's why, like that. When his wife left him, I was forced to stay in with him with my 10-year-old son because he
She was forced?
Yeah, he was forced. I don't know why he was forced. Maybe he's a maid. She's a maid, but stay out. Because there are maid that stay in, stay out. You know what is stay in?
Stay in.
Yeah, you know
yes,
that.
Yes, I speak English, honey. Stay in.
Yeah, because sometimes there are maid that only in the day. In other words,
live in,
live out. Stay in, stay out. In other words, like live in, live out.
Let's get the letter, honey.
Where I am now. When his wife left him, I was forced to stay in with Gary with my 10-year-old son because he had a mild stroke, possible too much stress of what happened to him. Until he is doing fine after few months and something happened to us. I didn't regret, although I know he was carried away because he was drunk and flesh needs. Flesh? What do you mean by flesh needs, hon?
Yeah, we felt horny.
We're now we're now living together as boyfriend and girlfriend once we are inside the house. Sleep together in one room. But once he got visitor, we sleep different room, and when we go out, we're maid and boss relationship. And that's what our neighbor also see on us. Only him and my son knows our setup. I asked him what his plan, but his answer, just be contented and be happy. I love him, but I don't want that someday he will just throw us away. Please advise me how could I gain strength to make a right decision. China. That's so difficult.
Well, it's not really difficult, is it? Because what's happening is he is having his cake and eat it, as they say. And anybody who wants to have all of the pleasures and none of the pain, or wants to take the gift home but doesn't want to pay, well, they're not being very fair, are they? Try going to a supermarket and filling your basket, all right, or your trolley, or whatever you want to call it, and then going to the cash desk and saying, look, I do want all of this stuff, but I don't want to pay for it. And they'd say, oh, sure, that's okay. Off you go, sir. I don't think that's going to happen. So, what you have to do, talking to the author of the letter, is you have to make some boundaries for yourself and say, well, if we are either, maybe this is an option that you want to consider. Say, either we are maid and employer, or we are boyfriend and girlfriend. No two ways around that, because if you are employed, then you get paid, and that's what you do.
Yeah, my opinion on that is she is in the difficult situation, because she was in love, but in the wrong person, or maybe the guy was scared to spread to the neighbor because he's married. But why is it? It's the wife that first place left him, right?
18 months ago.
Yeah, so I think you need to find a man that will be proud of you and not just inside the room.
Isn't this another case of putting a bag over your head or covering your face while you're being done? Isn't that what's happening? Like the man who came and visited the Filipina, and he wanted to have sex, but he wanted to cover her head so that he didn't have to face who she was. And isn't that what's happening now? As a matter of fact, when Beth and I were on one of our missions to help, we stayed in Cebu, and we stayed as the guests of an expat who was doing exactly what you are doing now. He had a very pretty young helper. That's how he introduced her. And this is my helper. And that's what she was. That's all she was. But we stayed there for a couple of nights, and it became very clear that she was helping him in a lot more ways than just doing the dusting, if you're with me. And when we had a chat with her, she was very upfront and very realistic, and she said to Beth in Tagalog or whatever language, was she speaking in Tagalog, honey?
Bisaya.
In Visayan. She said to Beth in Visayan, I'm not under any illusion. He could just tell me to leave at any time. Now this is a point, is that if you live with someone, you have rights. And if you live with someone and he enjoys, or she enjoys, all of the rights of a husband or a wife, then that has to be paid for in one way or another, in terms of your rights as a human being, as a member of a society that so deems that people who live together actually owe each other something.
Yeah, and it's quite difficult, your situations, because you fall in love to your boss, but seems that he didn't value you, because if he loves you, he will be proud of you, and he will he gonna show you, he's gonna allow you to introduce to his friends, to your neighbors, whoever that you gonna knows. There's no hidden, and at the same time, maybe he was not been moving on his wife, and he's trying to wait. Maybe his wife will come back, so
And then
don't
where
wait.
will you be?
Yeah, you will be thrown away, so you're gonna speak to him and says, look, what is our relationship? Don't just say that be happy and be contented. I want an assurance, because if you cannot give me that insurance, or what kind of assurance is that, then
Assurance.
yeah, assurance, then go fine, because
Now, what we're kind of missing out here is that it may not be possible for you to go. Maybe you are in that job and you think that you can't get another job. So there's a lot more to this than just simplifying it and saying, well, if he wants to do that and he doesn't want to recognize you, then just go. But when you're in a job and you're lucky to have that job and you have your child with you and he allows that,
that's another thing.
then that's another point.
Yeah,
but
especially
you used to be an outside maid and housekeeper. So you've moved in and then you've got trapped in you're in the caring too much trap. Now there's another factor that should be brought in, and that is the common law. The common law. There's a common law. If a woman lives with a man, she moves into his house, after a certain period of time, then she begins to have the same rights as a wife.
Really?
Well, yes, that's right. That's why they call them a common law wife. It's a common law marriage. And certainly in California, you don't say where you live, does she?
No,
she doesn't say where she lives.
She didn't.
If you're living in California, he is protecting his legal rights. Not that it sounds like he's got much left from what you say. That you say that he was left broke and in a bad way, stress-wise, had a stroke. And it seems like you've come in and you've saved the day. You've moved in. You've given up all of your rights. So nobody can tell you in any of these letters that people write to us and ask for our input. No one can tell them what to do.
Yeah.
It's not our job to tell you, well, leave him. I mean, no question about it, just leave him. You can just walk out the door. We know it's not as simple as that. what you need to do is to look at the options. Do you wish to continue the relationship as it is? Evidently you don't, because you've written here.
Yeah, so you need to decide. Talk to him. Talk to him and says that what is my
Position?
position in this house. Do I am just a person? Do I am just a woman that you can just you just can have when you wanted it? That's how
But
you.
she's already spoken to him about that, and his
You deserve more than
was
that.
yeah, but his answer was, oh, just be happy, just
Just
Boy.
answer him. You deserve more than that. You need to have an assurance, and just speak to him. Maybe he's scared. Maybe that man is scared to go into commitment because he's scared that you're gonna leave him also. So maybe there's a side of don't want to commit, because he's already have a trauma on his wife who bring his money away. So maybe you both talk to each other and explain, if you love me, I love you, you love me, then we need to have an assurance that we've been committed to each other, and be proud of me, because I am proud to you. I could speak to the whole world that you're my boyfriend, and once it's happened, and once you settle and him, he gonna be proud of you. Then you need to go to the legal aspect, because it's so difficult. That's another difficult if you're in a relationship with a married man or married woman here in the Philippines, because there is a law against on that.
Are they in the Philippines?
Yeah, because he said he's a maid, right? And he got a son.
Oh, honey, they have maids in. Oh, yes, if she is in the Philippines, she would be able to have her son with her.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the guy that we're talking about. Oh, no, she didn't. The one we're talking about didn't have a son, did she? Right.
So that's one thing.
She doesn't say whose the son is either. That's
Because
another point.
I don't think that there's a maid in America or stay in and stay out. There is.
Yes, there are.
Let's assume he's a Filipino and here because
Yeah. Well, because of the child, that would
Yeah.
indicate that they are. That because I doubt that she would have been able to. Well, then again, she could have gone to. She could have gone to America as a domestic help and had a child there.
Yeah, but
So-
the ex-wife is with a young Filipino.
Oh,
With
is
his
that what
money,
was said?
yeah, with his money,
Okay.
with his money.
All right.
Yeah, and also advice to a foreigner, advice to a foreigner, not just to the Filipina. To advise to the foreigner is when you got money, don't give it all to your wife or your girlfriend. For just even if you trust her or him, just have a little reserve for yourself, so
Well,
that
why
you will
don't I
not
have a reserve?
so that you will not ended up
excuse me.
having a mild stroke.
Excuse me.
I'm taking care of you, right?
What did you take care of me
Yeah.
today? Didn't I put my own underpants on?
Yeah, because
and
Terence.
didn't I successfully dress myself today?
Yeah, because Terence and I, our setup is he got 2 pension, right? You got 2 pension, a US pension and a UK pension, right? So this is our setup, just to give you a little add-on on the video. Our setup is he got his US pension ATM, and I got the UK pension ATM, and then once we get our YouTube payment, it goes to me, right?
Let me simplify this. We split everything right down the middle. 98-2. And she has the 98.
Yeah, no.
You see, I really don't care, and I imagine that there will be expats that saying, "Oh my God, what is he saying? Stupid idiot!" But actually, I trust Beth. We both work very hard as a team. Actually, this is a good time to answer
Yeah.
one of the comments that was made, that I live rent free. I live rent free. Now, just coincidentally, while I'm living rent free, 31 families now have a house that they can live in. just while I'm living rent-free, 4 or 5 people have been able to go into surgery, some of them life-threatening, um, cataract surgery, uh, school uniforms, and a lot of other things that just coincidentally while I'm living rent-free have happened in the community. We got a bridge, we got a road that benefits a lot of people, right? We paid for everything, we live debt-free, and we save very hard because we live simply. We.
Yeah.
The emphasis is on we. Okay?
Yeah, we live simply, we just have our YouTube payment today. We just received our YouTube payment, and then I said to Terence, what should we buy? And then Sister said, oh,
Well, actually, you
nothing.
didn't even do that, did you?
I said
We,
to
we
you,
talked about.
and I
We
said
talked
we don't
about.
need to buy anything.
Oh, we talked about the fact that we've got the YouTube payment in today,
Thank you.
but
Thank you to
we
all who
actually
watch.
we actually didn't think of rushing out and buying anything, did
Yeah.
we? Because we're saving, and we save for any eventuality. I'm 79 years old in just a couple of weeks.
Couple of days.
No, it's not a couple.
Weeks. We're still
The
June.
22nd. Work it out for yourself. You can do the math. On the 22nd, I'm 79. I'm in very good health, a lot fitter than a lot of people that I know who are in their 50s and 60s. Because I didn't abuse myself in my earlier life, no smoking, very little drinking. And so, I'm enjoying a good life, but hardly living rent-free. I give everything that I earn along with my part in our partnership. And as if you are here looking at Beth and I, you will know that Beth is not eye candy. Beth is a partner. We are equal partners, and we often battle it out as equal partners. So it's one of those things, that couples have to decide how they want to look at each other, how they want to respect each other. And sometimes if one is not being fair, then the other one has to put that right. And it takes courage.
Yeah.
And it takes the ability to confront the situation. We know several people in our lives who have got some heavy situations to confront. It's not easy. No one is saying that this lady who has written in now that's in this situation, it's easy. For one thing, he has started out in her life as an employer.
Yeah.
And the dynamic between employer and employee is a difficult one to break. The tendency is that the person will always think of the lower as being an employee, and the employee will always think of her boss as being boss. But in this particular case, he's not your boss now, is he? He's your partner.
He's your partner. He is your lover. So you need to decide now before it's gonna go into deeper and you will be in the big trouble.
Now, the other thing is as well, if you want to find out what his real feelings are, stop sleeping with him.
Yeah, stop sleeping and
you said that there's a second room. Well, go into the second room.
Yeah, because you deserve
say,
better.
That's what I'm supposed to be. Why are you in the second room, he'll say. Why aren't you sleeping with me? Well, when you introduce me to your friend Jeffrey or Sydney or whatever, you introduce me as your helper. Well, helpers don't sleep with their employee or employer. So I'm in my own room.
Yeah, like that. And that's my opinion is you need to speak, you need to talk to him and let him, you need to have an assurance. As I said, you need to have an assurance because at the end of the day, if he's still in love with his wife and his wife will be back because in case his money is already finished, and he said, oh, I need to go back to my foreigner husband, and then that foreigner is still very in love with that wife, and then if his wife
Yeah.
come back and he forgive him, then you will be away. You just been thrown out. Just the same as maid. Like, like you're my
No,
maid.
you'll be
Just,
fired.
yeah, you are my maid. So go away. I'll give you your compensation, your bonus, your monthly bonus, your Christmas bonus. So
Or a week's pay, probably.
yeah, so don't be scared. Don't be scared what happened. There's a lot of men. There's a lot of good guy, and if he treats you like that, then in other words, he's not been proud of you. And if look for a man that will be proud to show you to other people, that will introduce you to other people, and not just inside your
You sound,
your room.
yeah, you sound like a good person. You stepped in when he had a stroke, and you were there for him, and you took care of him, and then you fell in love with him, and he was happy to take the conjugal rights. So he needs to be brought up to a point where he recognizes that there's more to this. The Americans have got wonderful sayings, and one of the most popular is, there are no free lunches. And he's having his free lunch. Well, you need to close the cafe for the lunch and move into your own room, I think, in order to find out what the real feeling is.
Yeah, and at the same time of that, it's not a good example to your 10-year-old son.
Yes.
It's not a good example that you're leaving to that man, and at the same time your son will grow up watching that. What happened? Why is it once he got visitor, my mother is just introduced
Just
as
a
maid,
maid.
or when we go out, he's not proud of it. It will register on the mind of your son that maybe it will okay that when I grow up I also doing that. It's no good. It's not good example to your son. So you need to stand up. You need to stand up, not just for yourself, but at the same time for as a good example to your son. And no one is have a right to not be proud. There's no one have a right. Well, how are we gonna say that?
No
then?
one has the right to take you for granted.
Yeah,
You need to
like
set-
that.
you need
No
to
one
set
is
your
allowed
boundaries.
to use you.